I met Shawn on a beautiful summer day in Campbell, California. I was saving up money for my last year of school, waiting tables at a great Chicago deep dish pizza place. As I was refilling drinks and sampling different taps, I noticed this tall, dark, and handsome man staring at me over his pint at happy hour. As I came back and forth throughout my shift, we caught each other's eyes every time. After about 30 minutes of this, it was starting to get a little weird. I kept on thinking, like, why is this guy staring at me? But my friend Gary showed up, put his arm around that very same man, and said, "This is Shawn." Turns out they were meeting up. We talked about that moment a few times throughout the years, and when I asked him what he was thinking when he first saw me, he always said the same thing: mine. We got along instantly. Talking to him was so easy. I can still remember clear as day. Standing by that table, looking at him, and thinking to myself that he felt like family. He was so familiar to me. Well, like a lot of hangs with Shawn, that afternoon turned into evening. Evening turned into night. Night turned into last call. And we wound up at an Irish pub, eating junk food, joking around, listening to music, and playing chess. I would later learn that playing chess was actually not such a weird thing for him to do. He played chess every day. He was persistent about getting my number that night, and I have to give him credit. He really tried a lot of tactics. You should give me your number. So when you're going to give me your number? You're going to give me your number. And as we said goodbye that night, he tried one last time. Okay, this is your last chance. If you don't give me your number, we might never see each other again. And the thought of never seeing him again really hit me. And as you probably guessed, I gave him my number. And that led to us texting, which led to our first date and our second date. And by the time fall came around, we were a long-distance couple, finding every moment we could to talk to each other on the phone, FaceTime, and plan a weekend where we could visit one another. We spent a lot of time that year just talking on the phone and getting to know one another. And after that first year, I knew we would get married someday. I told Janie that summer, I think I have a fiance. He wasn't my usual type, and I wasn't his, but somehow we were deeply, indescribably compatible. Shawn knew he wanted to be a father from the beginning. Shawn loved making people laugh, but he couldn't resist making kids laugh. Once he got a kid on a roll, he would take the moment and run. I remember going to Miles and Emmeline's house one evening, and Shawn twirled Lucy over his shoulders no less than 20 times. I watched as over and over he put her down, saw the smile on her face, and picked her right back up again. It was like her laugh gave him the charge to keep going. It got to the point where they were both getting dizzy, and it was either going to end with Shawn tripping or Lucy peeing her pants, so I had to stop. But in 2017, when the little over-the-counter pregnancy test revealed 2 big red lines, it was a very short conversation. We sat down for dinner on Laurel Canyon in Ventura, said cheers to my last cocktail for a long time, and embarked on a whole new journey. Shawn was so excited to be a dad. Even though we agreed to keep it quiet for a while, he told Lincoln almost immediately. He apologized to me for spilling the beans, but he was just so excited he couldn't keep it to himself. There were many moments like that year where his excitement would take over. I'll never forget driving over Coldwater Canyon, dizzy from contractions, holding on to anything I could for dear life, and there was Shawn driving the switchbacks with one hand and calling everybody in speakerphone. And meanwhile, I'm in the background screaming. Shawn loved being a father. It was his personal mission that Nora felt like a daddy's girl. He would take her on dates, take her shopping, get lunch, mani-pedis, haircuts, jewelry, the arcade, golf, and all sorts of adventures. Nora would always come skipping back into the house from a date with Dad. In fact, she always skipped when she walked next to him. He told me often, I need to show her how she should be treated so that she knows when she meets a loser. They have a unique bond. Peas in a pod. Sitting at the dinner table, the two of them was a front row seat to either a comedy show or a WWE match. They proudly called themselves the Buggers, and their main target was me. Bug Mommy was the battle cry in our house, and Dora got all his personality. Thank God. It made him so proud to be a good provider and protector for our family. His weapon of choice was a golf club next to his nightstand. Sometimes I wonder how that might go down, but I know it would not be good for whoever the victim would be. Shawn could put up a really tough front, but he was a romantic at heart. He secretly loved Valentine's Day and would always make it special for us. He loved to surprise me with roses, balloons, reservations. He could make big romantic gestures like surprising me with jewelry, or little ones like a red heart emoji in the middle of the day. He would tell me often that he just wanted the fairy tale ending. Me, a house, a couple of kids, and dogs. Hard work is how he showed he loved me. In fact, I think hard work was just how he was wired. Shawn could take any obstacle put in front of him and overcome it, and he had his unfair share of obstacles. Shortly before boarding his last cruise tour between undergrad and college and grad school, he failed his medical exam to get on the ship. A few doctor's appointments and labs later, he was diagnosed with FSGS, a rare form of kidney disease. Shawn would hate that I'm even talking about his disease. He never wanted to identify as a patient or have his disease define him. But I only bring it up because I believe his life with his disease speaks to what a strong person he is. To know Shawn was to forget he was sick, and he liked it that way. He never complained about how he was feeling, even though his disease was a daily presence in his life. After 11 years together, multiple health scares, there were many days I would forget he was living with a chronic illness. Shawn was strong. Shawn is resilient. Shawn loved life. Shawn was a force of nature. His death will never make sense. There's no reason why this beautiful man is gone. I've spent countless hours thinking of every possible reason why this could have happened, only to arrive at the same answer every time. There's no reason. There's no explanation. It doesn't make sense, and it'll never make sense. His death is a terrible, cruel tragedy. And while the grief I experience often feels impossible, there is some beauty here. I'm in so much pain because we loved each other so much, and that's a good thing. Our love for each other was a good thing. And for that, all I can say is thank you, Shawn. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for accepting my flaws and loving me on my worst days. Thank you for forgiving me again and again. Thank you for making me laugh. Thank you for giving me a daughter. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for always fighting for our family. Thank you for being my home. I love you forever.